Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IAS Academy. So today in this session I'm going to discuss the most important topic from ancient history, that is history of coinage system in India. Now in this session I'm going to discuss the start, or you can say the evolution of coinage system from ancient India. Getting my point? So as we know that coinage system represents money economy, and money economy is considered as most important part of economic or state system. Now in history we should know how this money economy was started, how this coinage system was evolved in ancient India. Clear? So let's begin with the session. Now, so first of all, so when we start with ancient India, the most important thing that ancient India is categorized into three parts. Ancient India is categorized into three parts. First, prehistoric period. Second, proto-historic. And third, historic period. Now, prehistoric period, where written records are not available or writing was not developed. So this is called as Stone Age. So in this, evolution of human beings, evolution of society, all these things took place. Then proto-historic period, written records are available but we are unable to decipher. So here, Indus Valley civilization. Historic period, where domestic written records are available, architecture or archaeological evidences plus coins and foreign accounts. Getting my point? Foreign accounts. So now when we talk about Stone Age, that is prehistoric period. So when we talk about Stone Age, so there is no evidence of coinage or any form of medium of exchange. Clear? Why? Because Stone Age is the stage of evolution. Clear? We are primitive humans. So occupation was hunting and gathering. Clear? And economy nature was subsistence economy. Subsistence economy. Clear? Now, after that, Indus Valley civilization. Now in Indus Valley civilization, trade was there. Like trade between the civilizations, like there was a trade between Harappa and Mohenjo-daro with Mesopotamia. Clear? With other civilization like Sumerian civilization. Getting my point? But there was use of seals, but seals are considered as great sculptural artifacts. They are not considered as coins. Getting my point? And till now we did not get any evidence of use of currency system during the time period of Indus Valley civilization. Use of metals was there, metals like gold, silver. Getting my point? These things were there. But so economic system here was barter system. Barter system was prevalent. Getting my point? And seals cannot be considered as currency system. So seals are artifacts. Clear? Then after the decline of Indus Valley civilization, Vedic period starts because of advent of Aryans from 1500 BC. So Vedic period is divided into two parts. Rig Vedic period, which starts from 1500 BC till 1000 BC, and later Vedic period from 1000 BC till 6th century BC. Now in Rig Vedic period, again economy was subsistence economy or pastoral economy, and there was no evidence of currency system, though precious metals were used. Clear? Like Nishak, then Nishka Greav. Now Nishak and Nishka Greav, now these are two important keywords. They were considered as gold ornaments. Clear? But there is no evidence that these ornaments were used as medium of exchange. Clear? Then Hiranyapinda, which is called as gold globules. Clear? So there is no evidence that there was currency system. Then after Rig Vedic period, later Vedic period, from 1000 BC to 6th century BC. Why? Because in 1000 BC, there was discovery of iron. Discovery of iron, and discovery of iron changed economy. It turned pastoral economy into agricultural economy. Because now, because of iron, development of iron tools, now those iron tools will cut down the forest and extension of agriculture. That is why agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy. Clear? So, in later Vedic period also, when agricultural economy came, so internal trade was started. Internal trade, but there was no evidence of coinage. No evidence of coinage system or money economy. Now if there is no evidence of money economy, then what was the system? Use of precious metals. Clear? Use of precious metals. Like in later Vedic period, Nishak, Suvarna, Shatmana and Pada. These may have been the metal pieces of definite weight, and these were used. Clear? But currency system was not there. And from here only, from later Vedic period only, the birth of Janpad system. Janpad. Janpad means a kind of city or state system or small kingdoms. Clear? And gradually this Janpad system will turn into Mahajanpadas in 6th century BC. So Mahajanpad after this. So till now we have seen there was no currency system. Clear? Now Mahajanpad. So 6th century BC is considered as the age of Mahajanapadas. Now first of all, why? Now because of this second urbanization started. Urbanization. Urbanization means development of three centers. That is religious center, production center and headquarter, that is capital city. So at that time headquarter, so rise of Magad was the capital city, production center like Mathura, religious center like Kashi. Clear? So emergence of states. So Mahajanpadas, Maha means big states. So total 16 Mahajanpadas emerged. This much is clear to all of you. Now why? Because in later Vedic period already agricultural economy was evolved, and gradually Aryans started moving toward Bihar region, and Bihar is the region of Ganga river also and rainfall also, and that is why in 6th century BC agricultural surplus took place. Agricultural surplus. Now why surplus? Because of two developments. Because of two developments. First development was paddy transplantation was started. Paddy transplantation. And second, use of iron plowshare. Use of iron plowshare. Now, why paddy transplantation? If you go Bihar, if you see Bihar, high in rainfall plus land of rivers, and 1 kg of rice requires 15 liters of water. That is why paddy transplantation started. So it resulted into agricultural surplus, and Bihar is also the area of iron ore. आज आप देखिए बोकारो स्टील प्लांट झारखंड. Earlier it was a part of Bihar only. Clear? So that is why better iron tools, advanced iron tools, iron plowshare. That is why agricultural surplus came. That means now food security is there and surplus will be used in terms of trade and commerce. And because of this, promotion to internal trade or internal trade and commerce and external trade. External trade. Now there is a need for currency system. अब जरूरत किस चीज की? करेंसी सिस्टम की. So from 6th century BC, money economy was started. Money economy, which is also called as economy based on currency system. That is, and the coins were called as punch marked coins. Punch marked coins. Clear? So as you can see here, emergence of state, urbanization and expanding trade. Clear? And अब source क्या है? ये कहां पर mention है? So Buddhist text it is mentioned, and Ashtadhyayi which is written by Panini. Ashtadhyayi which is written by Panini. These two texts refers the words like kahapana or karshapana or nikha or nishka, then shatmana, pada, then vimshatika, trinshatika and suvarna or suvarna. These words are mentioned in these two texts, Buddhist text and Ashtadhyayi, which is written by Panini. And at that time the basic unit of Indian coin weight system, अब basic unit क्या होती थी Indian coin weight system की उस समय पर? Red and black seed of gunja berry, getting my point, which is known as raktika or ratti. Clear? And in South India also standard weight जो होता था coins का, that was calculated on the basis of relationship between two kinds of beans. First was manjari and second was kalanju. Clear? So on these basis standards weights of coins were measured. Then so advent of coins did not mean the disappearance of barter system. Both were there. Barter system was also there and coinage system was also started. So from 6th century BC, punch mark coins. Punch mark coins. This system was started. That means a metal was taken, then the simple symbols were punched on those metals. Now the history of punch mark coins, initially it can be classified into two parts. So earlier it was issued by big merchants because of money economy, or individual Mahajanpadas, and later these things will be replaced by Mauryans, because Mauryans they created empire, centralized empire. So Mauryan coins. Clear? Punch mark coins. Now on punch mark coins the symbols were like hills, sun, mountains. Getting my point? That means it was based on nature. Now this shows that there was no representation, there was no information of king, getting my point, or no information about state. That means economy was under the control of private merchants. or traders. Clear? Now, so as you can see these coins, punch marked coins, आप देख सकते हैं. Clear? This punch mark coins, and this is called as silver bent bar, and these are also punch mark coins. So remember this thing, punch mark coins basically are oldest coins found in subcontinent. Clear? And these coins were mostly made of silver and some of copper. Clear? Now remember one thing, that gold coins were not there. Gold coins were not there till Mauryan period. Clear? अभी मैं बताऊंगा gold coins किसने issue किए. So now what was the shape of the coins? Usually rectangular, sometimes square also, and sometimes round also. Getting my point? So these coins were having irregular image or irregular in shape. Clear? Now, so as I have said that punch mark coins can be divided into two parts, Mahajanpad coins and Imperial Mauryan coins. Now first we will discuss Mahajanpad coins. Now Mahajanpad coins, remember this thing, like they were called as, so earliest punch mark coins कौन से थे? Puranas, then Kashpanas and Pan. And let me also tell you that Pan was the currency of Mauryans. Clear? So Puranas, then Kashpanas and Panas. These were the earliest punch mark coins by numerous Janpadas. Clear? And these coins were circulated in numerous Janpadas and Mahajanpadas near Indo-Gangetic plain. Now these coins have different shapes. Standard weight was there, and these coins were made of silver with diverse pattern, like hummed bull was there. Clear? So these coins were made on different pattern, like hummed bull was there, as you can see here, these coins. Clear? So like hummed bull was there. Then now hummed bull was there in Saurashtra coin. Remember this thing. अब ये hummed bull वाला coin कहां पर यूज होता था? सौराष्ट्र region. Then swastik in Dakshin Panchal. Clear? Swastik was used in Dakshin Panchal Mahajanpad. Then 5 symbols. So in Magad coins, 5 symbols were there. So basically these punch marked Magadhian coins became widely circulated in South Asia. Clear? So the most important punch mark coins were Magad coins. Clear? Now what is the source? These things are also mentioned in one of the most important law book called as Manusmriti. This is also mentioned in Manusmriti and also mentioned in Buddhist Jataka stories or Jataka tales, as well as these stories were also prevalent in South India. Clear? Now let me tell you that punch mark coins were classified into 4 different types of Mahajanpad coins, like Takshila Gandhara type. Now these coins, 4 different types of coins, were based on definite weight and measure. Getting my point? So 4 different types of coins were there, like Takshila Gandhara type, Kaushala type coin was there, and Avanti and Magadhan type coin was there. Getting my point? So these coins were different, having different weight. Now as you can see here, that this is Magad type of coin. Shape is also different, symbols are also different. This is, you can say, Kuru tribe coin, Kuru Janpad coin. Clear? So similarly these different types of coins were there. Clear? So if UPSC asks, so important 4 classifications were there. Now apart from this, so after Mahajanpad, the most important punch mark coins or imperial coins were issued during Mauryan period. Mauryan period, which starts from 322 till 185 BC. Now the most important source of Mauryan coins was Chanakya treatise Arthashastra. Clear? So Chanakya has mentioned in his book Arthashastra about the minting of punch-marked coins. Like Rupya Rupa was called as silver coin, Swarna Rupa was called as gold, Tama Rupa called as copper, and Sisar Rupa called as lead coin. These words, these coins are mentioned in Arthashastra. Now, out of various symbols used, so as I have said, various symbols were used in punch-mark coin based on nature symbol, natural symbols. So out of various symbols, the most important symbol which were used in punch-mark coins in Mauryan period, so prominent symbol were sun and sixth arm wheel. तो सबसे prominent symbol Mauryans के coins में कौन से use हुए? Sun and six armed wheel. These were most consistent. Clear? And these coins contain an average of 50 to 54 grains of silver and 32 ratis in weight. Clear? तो अभी हमने रत्ती के बारे में समझा भी था, grains. Clear? So that is why these coins, clear, whose average you can say the coin whose average was 50 to 54 grains of silver and 32 ratis in weight, those coins were called as Karshpanas. Clear? Now this is the image of Karshpanas coin, as you can see here, Mauryan Karshpana with symbols of wheel and elephant. This much is clear to all of you, and these coins were issued in 3rd century BC, and these are normally or regular Magadhian coins having 5 symbols. Clear? Now, after the decline of Mauryan Empire, India faced, or you can say in ancient India, so Indian empires faced foreign invasion. So when there is you can say weak authority in center, then India will always face foreign invasion from northwestern part. Now, the first foreign invaders were Indo-Greeks. Now, Greeks, they brought their own tradition, clear, in India, and they introduced a new style in coins. Now, another important thing, Indo-Greeks were the first ruler who issued gold coins in India. Yes, Indo-Greeks were the first ruler who issued gold coins in India. Clear? Now, the most important ruler of Indo-Greek was Menander and Strabo first. Clear? So, दो सबसे ज्यादा important ruler है Menander and Strabo first, जिनके coins मिले हैं. Those coins shows that these rulers ruled for a longer period of time. Clear? Now, so basically these Indo-Greek ruler, they introduced the fashion of showing buster head of the ruler on coins. Now for the very first time, the image of a king was shown, as you can see here. Getting my point? So now in these kind of coins, legends on their Indian coins were mentioned in 2 languages. तो जो legend होते थे Indian coins में, they were mentioned in 2 languages. One will be Greek. Clear? In Greek on one of the side and in Kharoshti on the other side. Now you must be thinking, why Kharoshti? Because Kharoshti script was prevalent in northwestern parts and Greeks came in northwestern area. Kharoshti scripts which starts from right to left. Clear? Then in these kind of coins, Greek god and goddesses were also shown. So Greek god and Greek goddesses were also shown commonly. In Greek coins, important gods who were shown like Zeus, Hercules, Apollo was the sun god, Phallus, Athene. So all these gods and goddesses were shown. So in the initial series, they used the images of Greek deities. Clear? Initially Greek rulers ने Greek deities का use किया, but later on they started using Indian deities images as well. Getting my point? They started using Indian deities images as well. Clear? Now let me tell you, Indo-Greek rulers took the title which are mentioned in their coins, that is Devrat and Sudevrat. Now Indo-Greek rulers took title called as Devrat and Sudevrat. Clear? So coins mainly made of silver, copper, nickel and lead, and they also started gold coins. They started gold coins. ये word याद रखिएगा. Clear? Prominent coins कौन से वो यूज कर रहे थे? Silver and all. But they introduced gold coins in India. Clear? They introduced gold coins in India. So coins of Greek kings in India were bilingual. Bilingual in the sense Greek language and Indian language. So that means written in Greek on front side and in Pali language on the back side. Front side में Greek language पे लिखा होता था and back side पे Pali language. Clear? As you can see here. So see the word, the name of Menander is written. Clear? So coin from the reign of Menander, and on the obverse side, that means front side, Menander throwing a spear, and reverse side, Athena with thunderbolt, who was a Greek god. Clear? It is written. So legend has written of King Menander the savior. This much is clear to all of you. So this is about Indo-Greek coins. Now this Indo-Greek tradition was followed by Shakas also as well as Parthians. But after that, Kushans came. Now why Kushans are important? Because the most important ruler of Kushan was Kanishka, whose empire started from Central Asia till Varanasi, such a large empire. That means Kanishka was having a direct control on Silk Route. That means at that time, prosperous empire was formed by Kanishka. That is considered as the peak period of second urbanization or money economy, because India was having direct control on Silk Route. Clear? So that is why gold coins were issued by Indo-Greeks, introduced by Indo-Greeks, but the purest gold coins were issued by Kushans. Purest gold coins सबसे ज्यादा किसने इशू किए? कुशान ने, जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा प्योरिटी थी. And large number of gold coins were issued by Guptas, but Gupta's gold coins were not pure. Remember this thing, Gupta's gold coins were not pure. Clear? So let me tell you that Kushan, this was the first dynasty of subcontinent who mint large quantities of gold coins, and silver coins were rare. So large quantities of gold coins represent spread of money economy. Spread of money economy. And Kushan's coins have the figure, name and title of king on the front side. So over side में कुशान के king की information थी, title था, उसका image थी. Clear? And on reverse side, deities belonging to Brahmical, Buddhist, Greek, Roman and other pantheons. Clear? So on the other side, religious information was there. Like on the coins of Kanishka who adopted Mahayana Buddhism. So on the coins of Kanishka, the image of Buddha was created. As you can see here, Buddha is written. Clear? So that is why the legends are either entirely in Greek or in some cases Kharoshthi on the reverse side. Clear? So they also use regional or local language. So Kushans were from Central Asian and they depicted various images like Oesho. Oesho refers to Shiva. Moon deity was called as Miro and Buddha in their coinage. तो कुशांस रूलर ने अपने कॉइन्स में शिवा, लॉर्ड शिवा की इमेज, मून डीटी की इमेज एंड बुद्धा की इमेज को रिप्रेजेंट किया है. So earliest Kushan coin is generally attributed to Vema codfices. So Kushan empire in India was established by Kajula and Vema codfices, and after that Kanishka came. Clear? So Kushan coins generally depicted iconographic forms which were drawn from Greek, Mesopotamia, because इनका region क्या है? Central Asia to वाराणसी, जहां पर Greek influence भी पहले से था. Clear? Then Zoroastrian religion was also in Persia. So that is why you will get Kushan coins generally depicted iconographic forms from different religions like Greek, Mesopotamian, Zoroastrian and Indian mythology. Clear? So Shiva, Buddha and Kartikeya were major Indian deities who were portrayed on Kushan's coin. So Kushans were the ruler who issued purest gold coins. This much is clear to all of you. Now Now after this, after the decline of Kushan, clear? Now at the same time in post-Mauryan period in Deccan, there were rulers who were the officers of Mauryans, and after the decline of Mauryan Empire, Deccan में किसने empire बनाई? Satavahanas. Clear? So Satavahanas were also Brahmins. They are also mentioned as Andhraputras in Purans. So the most important source of Satavahanas is Purans. Clear? Now the coins of Satavahana. So let me tell you that Satavahana coins predominantly copper and lead and silver issues are also known. Clear? So predominantly इनके जो coins is this copper and lead. Later you will see that copper, lead and potin. Potin is an alloy of copper, silver, lead and all. Clear? So silver coins of Satavahanas carry the portraits and bilingual legends. Yes. So silver coins जो हैं Satavahanas के उसमें portraits भी हैं, bilingual form में हैं. Now because they were inspired from Kshatrapa types. Getting my point? They were inspired from Kshatrapa Shakas, different rules from there. Clear? So on one side, most of the Satavahana coins had the figure of elephant, horses, lion or chaitya. Remember this thing. So in Satavahanas, on one side of the coin, they had the figure of an elephant, horse, lion or chaitya, and on other side they showed Ujjain symbol. Clear? They showed Ujjain symbol. That means a cross with 4 circles at the end of 2 crossing line, because Ujjain was the major trading center. Clear? And what was the dialect used in coins? Prakrit language. Now Prakrit language are in different dialectics, are the Magadhi, Paishachi, Prakrit. Clear? So the dialect was Prakrit. Now after this, coins of Western Kshatraps at the same time when these Satavahanas were there, so at the same time Shakas were there in Western India, that is Ujjain region. Clear? And the most important ruler of Shakas was Rudradaman. Nahapana, these are most important rulers. So Western Kshatraps, so that means this is the western branch of Shakas. This was the western branch of Shakas. Clear? So Shakas had their domination in Western India, originally in Malwa region, Gujarat and Kathiawar. And all these coins which are found in this region are of Shaka origin. So there was greater demand of silver currency in Western Deccan. Why? Because it was the area, major trading center. Clear? That is why there was a greater demand of silver currency in Western Deccan. And because of commercial reasons, silver coins were used. So one of the Shaka ruler whose name was Nahapana introduced a silver currency in Nasik area. Yes, remember this thing. Nahapana used silver currency in Nasik area. Now, in these coins, अब ये coins क्यों important है? Because these coins bears the date of Shaka era. Clear? 78 AD. So these coins bears the date of Shaka era, which started from 78 AD, and the coins of Western Kshatraps have head of the king on one side. अब इनके coins में image कैसी होती थी? On one side, over side, the image head of the king was there, and on other side they carry the device of Buddhist Chaitya or Stupa. So other side they were having the device of Buddhist Chaitya or Stupa, which is evidently borrowed from Satavahanas. अभी हमने discuss किया था ना that in Satavahanas also on the other side Buddhist Chaitya and different animals like elephant and all, clear, lion, all these figures were there. Clear? So this thing they have borrowed from Satavahanas. So what was the most important language that they used? Prakrit language. Prakrit language has been found written in many script. Clear? So as you can see these coins here, getting my point? Head of the ruler. Now after this, coins issued by Gupta age. Now Guptas, after Mauryan Empire, Gupta were the rulers who integrated India and they created empire. But after the decline of Gupta, feudalism, because they adopted feudalism because in decline in money economy, clear? So their administration was based on decentralization. And the empire, Gupta dynasty was established by Shri Gupta, who was just like a local chief, and then Ghatotkacha came. But the first important ruler who is considered as real founder is Chandragupta first. Clear? Now Chandragupta first, during his time period, he issued a new type of coin called as Kumar Devi coins. Clear? So remember this thing, Gupta rulers followed the tradition of Kushans first of all. अब कुशांश का कौन सा ट्रेडिशन इन्होंने फॉलो किया? दैट मींस किंग इमेज विल बी देयर और इंफॉर्मेशन विल बी देयर ऑन द फ्रंट साइड, ऑब्वर्ड साइड, एंड अ डीटी will be there, God will be there on river side. So deities will be Indian now, because the official symbol of Gupta was Garud. They followed Vaishnavism and they revived Hinduism. Clear? And the legends were in Brahmi script. So this was the period of great Hindu revival. Clear? Gupta's period, and their kings performed Ashwamedh sacrifice and other sacrifice as well. So Gupta coins were mainly made of gold. As I have said, they issued large number of gold coins, but their coins were not pure. Clear? So they issued silver and copper coins also, but large number of gold coins they issued. But इनके coins याद रखिएगा प्योर नहीं थे. This shows decline in the value of currency system. Clear? So silver coins were issued only after Chandragupta II. Yes, silver coins किसने इशू किए गुप्ताज में? Chandragupta II, and silver coin was called as Rupaya. Clear? Why he issued silver coins? As I have said, silver coins were famous in western region, Ujjain. So Chandragupta II defeated Shakas. Getting my point? Defeated Shakas. That is why he is called as Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya title किसको मिलता था? The ruler whosoever defeat foreign ruler will be given the title called as Vikramaditya. So Chandragupta II overthrew western Kshatraps or Shakas. So that is why he started silver coins. And on one side of these coins, now अब गुप्ता के coins में कैसे representation होते थे? On one side of the coins, kings can be found standing, making oblations before an altar, playing veena, performing Ashwamedh Yagya, riding a horse, elephant, or slaying a lion or tiger. Getting my point? So with a sword or sitting on a couch. So these different images were there on their coins in front side. Clear? That is why Gupta rulers adopted different titles. On other side of the coins, you will see female goddesses, that is goddess Lakshmi seated on the throne, or a lotus seal, or the figure of queen herself. Now this on the other, now this feature that the female goddesses they have taken from Licchavi Republic. Clear? ये Licchavi में था, and Chandragupta first he did matrimonial alliance with Licchavi kingdom, and the Licchavi princess was Kumar Devi. That is why his coins are called as Kumar Devi coins. तो Licchavi काफी पुरानी kingdom थी, and Guptas were new rulers. So गुप्ता ने जब matrimonial alliance की Licchavis के साथ, तो इससे गुप्तास की prestige काफी बढ़ गई. Clear? So inscriptions on the coins were all in Sanskrit language, and for the first time Sanskrit language was used in the history of coins. So Gupta rulers depicting the emperors not only in martial activities like hunting lions, tigers, or these things, but they also mention Gupta rulers in leisurely activities like playing veena. Samudragupta, he is shown as playing veena on and with river side of the coin having image of goddess Lakshmi, Durga, Ganga, Garud, and Kartikeya. This much is clear to all of you. So these are the features of Gupta coins. Clear? So as you can see here, these Gupta coins. So let me tell you some more facts with respect to Gupta coins. Like Chandragupta first, he issued Kumar Devi type of coins. Kumar Devi type of coins, or Kumar Devi coins. Clear? She was the princess of Licchavi. So because of Licchavi, the position of Gupta was rise. Clear? Now after Chandragupta first, his son Samudragupta came. Samudragupta. So Samudragupta was a great scholar also. So he is shown as playing veena. Playing veena. So from this only we came to know that Chandragupta, that is Samudragupta, got the title called as Kaviraj. Kaviraj. Clear? And Samudragupta also performed Ashwamedh. That is why he took the title. अब ये सारे टाइटल कहां पे मेंशन है? क्वाइंस में. He took the title Ashwamedh Parakaram. Clear? After Samudragupta, Chandragupta second came. Chandragupta second. And in coin, he is shown as hunting lion. Hunting lion. He is shown as hunting lion. That is why, because of this, he took the title called as Simha Chandra. Simha Chandra. Clear? And after Chandragupta second, this much is clear to all of you. Now, after Chandragupta second, Kumar Gupta. Now, he also performed Ashwamedh Yagya. So he took the title. Because of this, we came to know he took the title called as Ashwamedh Maharaj. Clear? Ashwamedh Maharaj Dheeraj. Clear, everyone? So these were some important facts with respect to Guptas. Now, after this, so after the decline of Gupta Empire, their feudal lords, their officers were Vardhans, that means Pushyabhutis. That means Pushyabhutis. Clear? So how Gupta Empire declined? Because of foreign invasion. So after Skandagupta, weak rulers were there, and a tribe from Central Asia, that is Hun tribe. So because of various wars, resulted into the decline of Gupta Empire. So Vardhanas, that means Pushyabhutis of Thaneshwar in Haryana, and later they shifted their capital called as Kannauj. They were responsible for turning out the Hun invaders from India. Getting my point? So most powerful king of Pushyabhutis was Harshvardhan. Yes, Harshvardhan. And Harshvardhan was the last Hindu Samrat of ancient India. Last Hindu Samrat. Of ancient India, and he got converted into Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism. So Harshvardhana issued silver coins. So silver coins of Vardhans. अब इनके coins में क्या होता था? On one side head of the king will be there. On one side head of the king will be there, and on other side the figure of peacock. As you can see here, on other side figure of peacock. Remember all these features. These features can be asked in your prelims examination. Clear? So because of these coins, so dates on the coins of Harshvardhan are also reckoned a new era, and वहीं से coin से ही पता लगता है that the rule of Harshvardhana started from 606 AD, which is considered as the date of his coronation, and in 647 AD Harshvardhana died. Clear? Because later he adopted Buddhism and he became a monk. Clear? So at the same time when Harshvardhan was there, so in Deccan region there was one dynasty called as Chalukyas, and Pulkeshin first was the founder of this Chalukya dynasty, and it is said that the legends, now Chalukyas of Badami or Vatapi in Karnataka. Clear? So legends and images of temple, now in their coins legend of images or the image of temple, clear, or a lion appeared on one side of the coin. तो इनके coin में क्या होगा? Temple की image होगी या lion की image होगी, and on back side of the coin it was left blank. Remember this thing, on back side of the coin it was left blank. Now later you will see another Chalukyan dynasty in eastern part that was called as Eastern Chalukya dynasty. Now what they did, now in 7th century AD, so Eastern Chalukya dynasty coins, they had a boar symbol in center. So they had a boar symbol in center with a distinct punch carved around each letter of the king's name. Yes, clear. So boar symbol है center में, और ये जो आप देख रहे हैं, ये जो पंच आपको दिख रहे हैं मेटल पर, this shows the name of a king. Clear? And opposite side was left blank. Yes, opposite side was left blank in Eastern Chalukyas also. So this is the coin of this main Chalukyas, and this is the coin of Eastern Chalukyas. Getting my point? Clear? Now, South India. Yes. Now, since ancient times, South India, and so in South India also there was a tradition of Panchmark coins found in various parts of South India. Clear? And these Panchmark coins have been identified as dynastic issued. That which dynasty issued these important coins on the basis of their symbols. Like, there are coins found in hoard at Bodhi Naikanur. अब बोधी नायकनूर का है नियर मदुरई एरिया. अब यहां पर जो कॉइन्स पाए गए, इस पे सिंबल था डबल कार्प फिश. डबल कार्प फिश, डबल कार्प फिश was the symbol of Pandyan kings. So when these coins are found and when those symbols are found, double carp fish, तब इससे पता लगा कि even Pandyan rulers also issued coins. Getting my point? Because double carp fish was the official emblem of Pandyas. Then अब आजकल क्या हो गया, फिर से excavation शुरू हो गया. So in recent year there has been increasing evidence of dynastic issued. So some coins are found with portraits, clear, like with the legend of Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. So here I am talking about early Cholas. Clear? So coins with legend Valuti. Now remember this thing, this was there in the news also. Coins with legend Valuti, this has been assigned to Pandyas. So if UPSC asks this question, so remember this thing, this belongs to Pandyas. So legend Valuti is mentioned in Pandyan coins. Then silver coins with the portrait of Chera king is also there. So silver coin with the portrait of Chera king and legend Makotai have been found in Krishna riverbed near Karur. So there silver coins with the portrait of Chera king and the legend Makotai, ये कहां पर मिले? Near Krishna riverbed Karur region. Clear? And this is related to Chera king. And then there are also coins with the legend Kuttuvankotai and Kolipurai. Clear? Along with Chera symbols, bow and arrow. So Chera का official emblem symbol क्या था? Bow and arrow. So these legend Kuttuvankotai and Kolipurai, they are found are coins with the Chera symbol of bow and arrow. So this and double fish and tiger. Getting my point? Now these coins are found. Now double fish represent Pandyas, tiger represents Cholas and bow and arrow Cheras. So this shows that even in South India the tradition of Panchmark coins was there. So as you can see these images of Chera coins. Clear? Then this is the image of Cholas coins. This much is clear to all of you? Clear? So with this we have completed the history of coins evolution in ancient India. That means evolution of coinage system in ancient India. So I hope this much is clear and I hope this will help you in UPSC prelims examination 2024. All the best. Thank you so much.